And here we are again with What You Getting Into, the podcast. And guess what I'm not getting into? I'm not getting into masks. They just ended the mask mandate out of nowhere. Like, we were chilling wearing masks, and then one day the CDC was like, nah, never mind. Even now, like when you go to the grocery store or whatever, I'm being one of the first adopters. People are still like, no, I'm gonna keep wearing it just because it's like peer pressure in there now. Like I don't get it. Like I was at Trader Joe's the other day, and me and the person I was with, we were just like, I'm vaccinated. Like someone has to start the not wearing the mask, and I think people have Stockholm syndrome right now. What do you think?
They probably do. I will say it was great timing that when I flew into Las Vegas last week, or I guess the week beforehand, and as soon as I turned on the TV, they announced the CDC's ending the mask mandate for people who are vaccinated. So that's great news. I'll try to be bold. I'll try to go in without wearing a mask. Um, I got my vaccine way back in April. I mean, there's a reason why I got mine so early because I wanted things to get back to normal,
Yeah.
away with the masks.
Yeah, festival
So
season, man. Like this summer is gonna be so fun just for. I mean, I
the
I do
roaring
miss big
20s,
crowds a little bit.
the
Yeah, like
roaring 20s are
I
back.
didn't think I'd miss like as I was like as we were getting into the pandemic, like certain places in Vegas I didn't like to go because they were too packed, too crowded. But I actually was able to go there this weekend, this past weekend, and like it was fun. Like it was you know I like to get places early, so like I like to arrive around well as early as possible. So like if it gets jumping at like 11, 12, I want to be there at 10, 10:30. So like now like I'm in there early and I'm able to start mingling, start talking to people early, like and then like those are your friends throughout the night, even though you're there with a group, like some clout in a club is very fun if like you earned it earlier in the night. So that's been my thing. So I had put in 3 good hours in the little place, and then I remembered I left a Popeye chicken sandwich in my car, and then I left. So that was good times. Good to be out and see the crowds again.
I haven't gone anywhere yet just because this past weekend I would try to catch up on sleep. Um, because Vegas will wipe you out like that. So I'm hoping this coming weekend, with it being the holiday, I go out, plan to visit some locations that I haven't been able to see in a while. I don't know what time I'm gonna get out there. I don't have a game plan. I'm just
Gotta
gonna
have
be
that game
there.
plan, man. I'm telling you, like a social game plan is one of the best things you can do because like a lot of people just go out there willy nilly, they just raw dog in their social plans. But like you want to get to places at a certain time and then move around, especially if you're gonna jump to different venues and stuff. You need to have a dang plan of all right, this is where I want to be. I might want to eat here at 6 or something like that. That meal is gonna last an hour, so I can be here by 7:30 takes this long to park and walk. Like a social plan, man, it keeps you calibrated. You know what you're like, keeps you focused, so you're not just faded.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of a spontaneous, spur of the moment type person, so I just kind of go with the flow and see where the night takes me. But I might try that out. Change is always a good thing, or
Yeah,
sometimes a good thing. So we'll see what happens.
heck yeah, man. Like I feel like this festival season, ooh, I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be at like at least I know I'm going to Foam Wonderland in a week or two, so get up for that. Gonna have some good pictures in the phone.
I don't know what festivals I'm going to go to. I would like to go to Foam Wonderland, but I need to get back to my house buying business. So my summer's going to be pretty packed. But I'm definitely going to go out and explore, do things that I haven't been able to do. I'm going to travel more. You know, Airfare is probably going to jump up in prices. Everyone's going to want to travel, but I mean, I'm going to be part of it. So
Yeah, like I think during the last year, a lot of people discovered that airfare was cheap who really hadn't traveled before. I think that was the thing. Like airfare has been cheap for years, but a lot of people never really leave their hometowns. Like never know, but now a lot of people discovered it. So planes going to be way more packed. Air travel is going to be crazy over the next couple of years.
the thing is, as well, I've heard that I know like a couple of concerts and festivals and airlines are going to end up doing this where you have to present either a recent negative COVID test or a proof of vaccination. So
So The crazy thing is, I went to AAA baseball games. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, AAA and
Yeah, so I went to
minor league
one and
baseball.
they made me download this app and it scanned my ID and then we were still made to wear masks. I think like now that the mask mandate is done, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. But before that, before it ended, they scanned my ID on this app and made me answer this questionnaire. So I think that's crazy that like that's already like well now my information's in this system which I don't even know what it is. I don't know what this app is. This place is just using this it's the same one that's on at the airport, but still like it's like a proprietary app and like whoa, there we go. Like I'm now someone somewhere can find out I was at the baseball game at this date at this time.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that sort of thing. I mean, I think just showing a vaccine card should be well enough. Like, I don't know about this whole downloading an app, inserting your data, and then sending it over to them. Who knows what they're going to do with it?
Yeah, they could definitely sell it. And all it was just to get into a baseball game. Like, yeah, that was difficult to see because I was kind of disappointed in that, but I did want to get into the game. I tried to once I saw that it was asking for all that, I tried like nah. I just tried to show my ID at the gate. No, they were holding everybody outside the stadium. Like had like 8 people out there to check them in. I'm like that's your whole job today is to make people download this app that you know they don't want to download. Like that sucks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those people, I mean, they probably don't want to do it, but, it's their job and
Yeah.
they don't have any other option. But no, I don't agree with that at all. You end up getting these phone calls a week later, Visa MasterCard or your car's extended warranty, like a bunch of unwanted BS. And you're just like, and it's because of stuff like that. That's why I went to Guitar Center earlier today because I had to pick up a couple cables. The guy's like, "What's a good phone number for you?" And I just kind of mumbled something along the lines of, "I don't use my phone." Because who knows what he's going to do with it? I mean, he's going
Yeah,
to
you're
send
at
it to
least
their
gonna get an
database system.
email. Yeah, start
I'm
getting
going to
those
get,
daily emails.
yeah, I'm going to get some spam text messages, unwanted emails. I'm going to get a phone call from some area code in like Rhode Island asking me for something that has little relevance to anything in my life. So that or use a Google Voice number. That's all I do.
Yeah, I use a dumb email address. I just basically say my email address off by one if I don't want daily emails from these companies because that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get. Luckily, Gmail, puts them in a promotion folder, but they will send you a daily promotion, and it's like not even anything. It's just nothing really. It's just like, wow, come into the store. The prices are still the same, but hey, like here's your daily email. Like that's even for like some other things, like some self improvement things I follow that I had to unfollow news. Like so there's like sending me like uh 1 page essay every couple of days or weeks or something like that. I'm like, this is nonsense. Why is this coming to my email? I don't care. Like I'll watch your YouTube channel or whatever when I want to at my leisure, but like I don't want to open up my email and hear from you.
Yeah. And I do agree. I do like how Gmail will organize those spam emails you get, and you have the option of unsubscribing from some of them. Yeah, some of them. I don't know if that always works, but I give it a try every now and then. I get a lot of posts from like Nextdoor. I don't know why I downloaded that app. Ticketmaster. It's ridiculous, but it's better than just having like you just a new email alert on your phone every day, and it's something you're not even going to look at. Go straight to junk.
Yeah, I got a letter, a physical letter in the mail about next door. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So this thing said, which this is probably complete cap because who would actually do this? So like it was like, hey neighbors, we're on this street over here. We want you on this street to download next door, and like we could start talking. And there's all this stuff posted on there already. Like that seems like a weird thing to send some random people in a random street. So yeah, that could have been the app next door like advertising their crap.
Yeah, the thing about Nextdoor is it's supposed to, I guess, be like a Facebook group for your neighborhood. So people will post stuff about, oh, someone stole my Amazon package from my doorstep, or oh, someone was speeding through the neighborhood. I lost my cat. It's kind of annoying, honestly.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of them when I first moved to my first apartment on the north side of the town that I live in, and that's all it was. I mean, same thing. my car got stolen, I lost my dog, suspicious activity at this block. It's all that sort of thing. I mean, it's more or less geared towards like boomers and homeowners in their 40s and that sort of things. Nothing that I really care about.
Yeah, neighborhood complainers. Like the only thing is the good thing would be, you know, maybe telling people to quiet down at a party or something like that, and the lost pets. Otherwise, like, yeah, it's going to be geared towards complainers, people who are just in other people's business, and that gives them more reason to be in other people's business because they think they're reporting on that app to four people or something like that. That's enough for them.
Yeah. Next door is, like I said, annoying. And then I don't even know what the heck else I get in my spam folder. I don't try to keep track of all the different companies and all that. It's just, I try to delete all of them. And I need to start giving out a fake email like that. That needs to happen in starting this year, starting now.
For sure. Yeah, like definitely get you a burner email or like one that stuff just comes to. Like set up separate emails or separate things. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, and my Google Voice number has came in handy so much because what it does is when someone calls, um, they have an automated answer machine. Is like, "Hello, state your name after the tone," and Google Voice will try to connect you. And then when you get a call from your actual number, you'll hear that person introduce themselves. It doesn't always sound as good as I'm making it out to be. I mean, sometimes someone will just mumble something. They'll be like, "Yeah," and then the prompt will be like, "To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2." But that's came in handy because if you sign up for anything and they want to call you, um, they're going to keep pestering you with calls, texts, and who else knows what else they can do with your information. So that definitely came in handy for me at least.
Yeah, I got a predatory gym membership that I got to get rid of eventually, but I'm stuck on a 2-year contract. And once my debit card expired, man, were they would not stop harassing me just for like the $16, like daily calls. Like, is it that serious? But like, yeah, that's their whole business model, just being a predatory gym. Like they charge more than any other gym in town. Any other game in town is just a small gym. Like it looks like an apartment complex gym. Like no one's making games in there. Like, I don't even think they have a flat bench. But yeah, it's and then like they count on people to probably go to other gyms and just forget that membership or whatever. It's like, man, this blows. This place is cakes. I'd not go back.
That's a very sketchy business practice. What they do is they will keep calling you and harassing you to keep paying, and then they will send your bill over to a collections agency, and then they will aggravate you, and that actually is messed up because it can destroy your credit.
Yeah.
And you can have like good credit, but you're trying to buy a car, you're not getting the deal you want, and they're going to say, "Well, you have a delinquent past due account." And you're like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, it turns out that gym membership that you didn't properly cancel sent to a collection agency, and now
Yeah,
that's collecting poorly on you.
they make you like whenever you want to deal with something financial, they have a financial company on the side, which is the crazy part. And like you really have to like put in emails you want to cancel this and like blah blah blah. Like they make you like go through a bunch of hoops to cancel. Like I mean, it doesn't take a bunch of hoops to take your money that day when you go sign up for it, but yeah, like they make you go through everything to get out of it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then they'll be like, oh, they'll keep your email on file so they can send you promotions to come back.
Yeah.
Like I still get emails from LA Fitness to come back, and there's not an LA Fitness within 800 miles of where I live. So it's just super annoying.
Yeah, definitely annoying. Like they especially like say when I tell them like I don't want this membership, they're like, oh, why not? Like because I don't want it, Like they just keep trying to press and press and press, and like what your job does. Like stop it, stop the BS. Like like that's the whole like if you have a script of pushing the question like that, you know what you do.
Well, the other thing is a lot of the times upper management will incentivize the employees. Like if you can, upsell this person's gym membership or prevent them from canceling, they will get a bonus. I wish they wouldn't do that, but that's how they motivate employees. That's how they make extra income. So that's just kind of a way of business. Like I have to do that type of thing at my job. I mean, my paycheck kind of depends on it. So Yeah, it's annoying. I can understand some of it, but when it comes to stuff like gym memberships, like, come on now, it's not that serious. I mean, you're charging people anywhere from 20 to $70 a month to use your equipment that's already paid off at this point. I mean, you're just paying property taxes to rent out the building at this point. Like, it's really nothing.
Yeah, stupid stuff, stupid stuff. So how did you recover from Vegas though? Like how was from all the hangovers and the sugary drinks?
So I don't remember getting that hungover. Now, keep in mind the past 2 weeks are a bit of blur for me. So when I came back, I've had like trouble sleeping since I've came back. I can't go to sleep early. Like ideally, I want to be in bed by 10:30. I'm not in bed till midnight, 11:45 at the earliest, and that just throws off my whole day because I wake up late, sleep through both of my alarms, get into work late. So I'm still recovering actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't recall being super hungover. I'm a little bit smarter when I drink now. Like I'll think, okay, pace myself, have some water, maybe eat something before I go to sleep because I've been hungover so many times and I know how susceptible I am to hangovers with the older I'm getting. I mean, I could drink 2 beers, go to sleep, and probably wake up with a headache. That used to not be the case, 7 years ago, but times have changed and I'm not the young person with a fresh kidney that I was. But I'm getting back. I spent this weekend inside in the house, relaxing, trying to let my body recover. And here we are already in the middle of the week now. I doubt I'll be in bed by 10:30, but we shall see.
Yeah, I feel that. Like what time is it now? They're 8:49. So we might finish this before 10:30. You never know. I just I think my thing is I got back in the gym heavy over the past 6 months or what have you, and I haven't worked out as hard as I'm working out right now in like 3 to 4 years, maybe. Yeah, about 4 years. So a midday nap happens for me like every day, and like I can't help it. I just get tired. I need that nap, but the gains are looking nice. So I mean, it's kind of worth it. Like some people, when they do dedicate their lives to like being in the gym, that's all they do is like go to the gym, come home, eat and stuff. Like luckily, I'm able to still produce a social life, which is sometimes it's hard. Like I think it was a Saturday night. I seriously went, and then like I came home and I was just like, yeah, I'm beat, man. I can't do it. I really couldn't do it that night. But most nights I'm able to go. I'm able to get done and go.
I wish I could have that midday nap because that sounds like it would be life changing.
No, it's
Because
not.
usually, well, midday for me, I usually get tired a little bit after lunch because I don't eat a lot for breakfast because I drink a lot of coffee in the morning, and caffeine suppresses your appetite. So I have something little in the morning. Then I'll eat lunch, and I don't know the exact terminology and the science behind it, but because I haven't ate a lot, my glucose levels will spike, and then I'll become very lethargic and tired, and I'll start yawning. And then by 2:30 in the afternoon, I have to have either coffee or a sugar-free monster to really power through the rest of the day. Um, and it's tough. I mean, if I could just like take 2 hours, eat, nap, wake back up, resume working, that'd be great. It really would. But I don't have that sort of flexibility. I have to constantly grind away at my job, and I hope my work life balance does not get any worse than it does now, because if it does for whatever reason, I need to find a new career because it's bad. But money's good, so it's kind of tugging both ways here. What do I want more, money or
The grind is hard, but
relaxing?
like we see you out here doing it. Like you're about to have that new house and stuff. So it might be, worth it to put in these good hours. And then next thing you know, like, keep your head down, you look up and you're in a new place, got a new place for your cat.
I hope that's my goal. I have been working my butt off, but man, it's just nothing. nothing can truly prepare you for adulthood rather than just getting thrown into it and being overwhelmed by the amount of things that are going on.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like you don't see a lot of adulthood when you're young. Like, you see your parents and then maybe you see your teachers or something, some of your older family members, but you see them when they're at home most of the time. And then, you have a certain reverence for teachers until you meet teachers as an adult and you're like, huh, they just like me. Like, they out here too, So it's definitely weird to have like, everything's in your name, your own credit, your own reputation, all that, like picking what part of town you live in, everything like that. It becomes crazy.
Yeah, it really does. I'm at the part now. I'm trying to figure out, what side of town am I going to live? Where am I going to be a resident of? And I thought it was, too big of a step for me getting my first car loan. All this sort of thing, these sort of things. You're truly, you have to like to actually take a step back and, you know, let it let it kind of absorb you, because
Yeah.
you always think you're doing the right thing, following like in your parents' footsteps or whatever mentor that you had, until you're actually doing it. Then you're like, whoa, like this is crazy, you know. And I've also realized, the older we get, we tend to spend our money on, I mean, while we don't have kids in a family, we tend to spend our money on a lot of ridiculous things, because at the end of the day, we're just kids with more money, and we can do whatever we want with it.
Yeah, and that's as we have like a labor shortage in the country and stuff. I feel like a lot of people are gonna get that more money and then still be, they're not gonna be buying themselves out of the spots that they're in. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm getting more money in my paycheck. And I was guilty of this too a couple years ago. I'm getting more money in my paycheck. All right, let's keep balling. Like, let's go to better places, eat better, all this stuff. And like at some point, you gotta look. All right, I want to retire one day. I want to, at least take some of these skills and move on to a better position. So that means I'm going to, get professional training or whatever. You know, some of that money has to go to something that's going to help you instead of, hurt you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
Or at
can't
least
spend
keep in
all
the
your
same spot.
yeah, you can't spend all your money on your vices. You have to, be smart about it, and you have to have the proper guidance to do that. Not everyone has the proper guidance. If you don't, I mean, God be with you. I hope you're able to make something out of yourself. But,
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I think the scariest part for me is this home buying sort of thing. I can't really ask my parents for help because my parents have not bought a home since the late 90s. The real estate market from 2021 compared to where it was in 2001 are so entirely different. You can't even, I can't even really ask my parents for advice there. I have to consult experts at this point. So that's for me, that for me is a pretty big step in growing up. When are you going to take the initiative on your own to, make that bold decision, that scary decision that people might not agree with, but you have to look at that like, this is what I want to do. This is a decision that I want to make, and I am comfortable living with the consequences. That's scary.
Yeah, it's always important to do your research and not take your advice from a screenshot from Twitter or something like that. But here we are in
Yes.
2021, and that does happen. Like people like share your little thing, and it's just like 30 words from Twitter from junior in college, and like that's what you're gonna run with. That's your day plan. Say, all right, go ahead. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's articles out there. There's all kinds of research out there to help with a lot of things in life beyond Twitter, beyond the Twitter complaints.
Yeah. I've tend to take everything I read on the internet with a grain of salt now. No longer am I looking at a screenshot of a particular topic and trusting that
Yeah,
individual being the expert. Um, I think you have to take everything with a grain of salt. I think it's good to get multiple perspectives on whatever decision you're trying to make, whether that is a financial decision or something else. Um, and just kind of, like you said, do your research And I tend to do this a lot. Like I'll ask a lot of my close friends their inputs on something, not because I'm looking for answers, but because I'm trying to think outside of the box. And I think by asking like a third party, their perspective gives yourself more perspective and really helps you make a decision in the end.
Yeah, I feel like the internet is like complainer central now. It's not like, some people on there who are, putting in the work to, you know, put their message out there, whatever. So those are some hard works on the internet, but there's a lot of complainers. So my example of that is yesterday, I think, yeah, this game came out that I wanted, and usually games nowadays, you order them digital, they're playable at like uh, midnight Eastern time, so 3 hours back. My time's like 9 p.m. So I try to boot it up at 9 p.m. So I had that boy downloaded and ready to go. And then for some reason, you couldn't play it for 10 more hours. So I'm like, hey, all right, this is a glitch. I go check the internet. It's not a glitch. All right, well, I can't play for 10 more hours. That's it. That's in my mind, it's like, that's it. But, then like I searched the game, the hashtag or whatever, and my like just adult children, like super big sob story. Now I can't play it for 4 weeks. Like that's a complete lie, number one. And like, oh well, dude, it's a game. Like you can't because it came out 10 hours later than you anticipated, which they announced it in advance, but like no one reads that crap. But yeah, they announced it in advance. It's gonna come out at a certain weird time. But yeah, it's like that 10 hour delay, and like those are extreme first world problems. I remember like the memes about first world problems 10 years ago to now. Like first world problems are so bad nowadays.
Yeah, it's just about with like anything, there's a massive uproar on the internet because it's a bunch of man childs all complaining. Like Cyberpunk, for example.
Yeah,
Um, it got so bad Cyberpunk was refunding money people for the game that they bought. Or look at I just recently bought Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm still on the first game, but the ending of Mass Effect 3 apparently caused such a huge uproar. Uh, who made Mass Effect? I'm blanking on the
BioWare.
name. BioWare, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't want to say I know Bethesda wasn't the right answer. I was thinking Ubisoft, but yeah, BioWare. Because they made Knights of the Old Republic. That's right. They added in multiple endings to the game because of a bunch of man children just complaining. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not going to affect your life that
yeah.
dramatically. It's your entertainment. Oh, okay, it wasn't what you wanted. Go to sleep, wake up in the morning, use the bathroom, and get on with the rest of your day. I mean,
No, like look at Last of Us 2. That game came out like a year or two ago, and they're still going about it. Like anytime that's mentioned, like it's like they can't handle that. Like these people who are creating it aren't really creating it for you, the individual. They're creating it for a collective. Like the individual has become way more important than the collective nowadays. So like just it's a bunch of individuals complaining. And then sometimes one topic will snowball, and then there's just a big complaint. And then since they see other people doing it, they won't stop for years and years and years. That's Last of Us 2. What else?
No Man's Sky. Remember where
Yeah.
that huge uproar?
Yeah, Cyberpunk, that does still suck. But again, like every time I boot it up, I'm just like, okay, this game still isn't running, but I'm not on every tweet that they make just about that action making a complaint every time. It's weird to me. It's weird behavior. It's like you're still a fan if you're a hater. Like if you're still paying attention to something that you hate, you are a fan.
Exactly. You're still buying the games that they're making. I don't think a lot of companies even really care at that point. Like, as long as the sales are there, they don't care about how you feel about their product. You're still going to buy it. They own you.
So yeah, I want to get that Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but I got some other things on the docket first, and I mean I don't really like to replay old games. And Mass Effect is good. Mass Effect Andromeda killed that series, so hopefully they pull back up with some new games that are actually good again. Otherwise, like I'm on this Biomutant.
Yeah, I haven't played any other new games beyond that. I've just been playing MLB The Show because it came out for Xbox. But going back to your point about the internet and how it's just a bunch of complaining. That's one of the greatest things about the internet is anyone can post anything they want about anything. One of the worst things about the internet is anyone can post anything they want about anything. And it's definitely a double-edged sword. I'm not going to get into the whole uh, arguing about net neutrality and that sort of thing, but I personally think that some people just shouldn't be able to post on the internet. I mean, you're not doing yourself any good by calling people names, being racist, homophobic, discriminatory, or, you know, making up these very melodramatic stories about what you didn't like about this, or that. I think it's all ridiculous. I mean, just shut up.
Yeah, too much oversharing. I think one thing that I saw the other day on Reddit was this lady got pulled over in traffic because she was on her phone in traffic to the point where traffic had moved and the cop was able to get out of his car, walk up to her window, and knock on it. So he pulls her over, what have you, and then she starts like it was I think it was on the whatever the Karen one or insane freak out or something like that, something along those lines. But first she was just like, are you pulling me over? Then she was like, you made me unsafe or feel unsafe. So I should have tased you or whatever, not tased you, pepper sprayed you. And then like she just kept running down with that one. And then like she was like, you're not listening to me. Like he was listening, but like he wasn't changing his mind on it. It's like lady, you got caught in traffic going through your emails and text messages. Like that's pretty cut and dry what the law is in your state. And then like finally she was like, I pay your salary. Then like he just stopped listening and then like, gave her a ticket and went on about his day. But then like, you go to the comment section and Reddit is another one of those like cesspools of complainers. So someone was like, extreme outlier story, blah 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 blah. She probably should have felt unsafe, blah 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 blah. And it's like, no, like she was in broad daylight, safe enough to text on her phone. Like we can't go back to, okay, this very extreme thing could happen because like this cop pulled her over. Like that's silly to me, and it makes us like a nation of complainers, a nation of like accepting like completely like dumb behavior.
Yeah, and even when people start pulling out their phones and start taking video of an interaction that's happening. I remember that video of these three women who were shopping at, I think it was a Kohl's, and one of the employees pulls out their phone and starts recording it. And these women are just saying every bad word about these employees, saying, I'm going to sue you, calling them the B word, using the F word. And there was one lady, and she walked off. She's holding like a 2-year-old and is just yelling. And this 2-year-old is like not even reacting, has no reaction to the whole thing, which, leads you to show that young child is used to hearing, people yelling and screaming and calling each other's names a lot. So I'm sure that child will grow up with no issues. But even with that, like, I've seen videos of people taking out their phones when a cop's, pulled them over, where, okay, I can understand maybe you're going to want to use that as a legal defense should something happen. But if they're clearly in the wrong and they're still recording, like they're trying to show the cop up, I mean, it's going to backfire. Like, why are you doing this sort of thing? Like, what are you hoping to prove when you clearly have violated the law or not done something very intelligent?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of thing of what we're seeing, like as we open back up in person. A lot of people think, all right, the internet brigade will defend me because a lot of behavior is very defensible on the internet. As I said, like they'll take it extreme and go there, and then like it's like, all right, you don't want to disagree with the extreme, like they'll compare something to Hitler, and you don't want to be like, you know, that's not bad, that's not Hitler, like whatever. So like they'll take it to the extreme like that, but like that does not work in person. It's not working in person at all. There's certain rules and statutes. Even a one-on-one conversation, like if we were in a disagreement, like you really couldn't like start bringing in some other BS that like doesn't make sense if you don't have like the backing of other people to like try and beat me down. The mob
Mob mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's people are on Facebook and a bunch of other sites way too much, and I feel like some people are becoming disillusioned with reality versus the internet and people's opinions on there. I mean, if you stay on the internet all day, you're going to see tons of people talking about how terrible uh, of it President Donald Trump was and how Bernie Sanders should be the next president. Well, little did we know, in reality, there's a ton of people that love Donald Trump, and Bernie Sanders lost to Joe Biden in the primaries. How many people on the internet were talking about Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders?
Not
Maybe
very
it's
many.
just they'll see. Maybe it's just the media channels that I've been paying attention to, but and maybe you have similar ones. Who knows? But I think it's a pretty. I'd say I make a bet that it's a pretty strong consensus that Bernie Sanders had the backing of the internet, which clearly did not equate to what's going on in reality.
Yeah, because those are the same people who probably won't go outside to the voting booths. They're tethered to the computer. Like I know people like that in real life who are very opinionated about certain things, and then like once you get to the have you tried this in real life? Well, no, but I'm like, okay, so there's that. Like, if you haven't, tried it, tried it successfully, try it multiple times. It might work once, but it's not going to work all the time. Like, so like you got to know the success rates of things and maybe do some research or get someone else's firsthand experience of it. But I think that was interesting, as you said, like with the vote and other things. They're very popular on the internet, but if you come out in public and you're cosplaying at the pool or something like that, people are more like, what? But there's a big cosplay community on the internet. It's just like you gotta know where you're going when you do some certain things, like if you go into like a country bar, they probably won't let you in if you're dressed like you're going to somewhere else, and vice versa. It's you gotta know the community you're going to. I think when you go in real life, and a lot of people they take that internet mentality right out into the real world, especially as we're opening up, and it's not really going too well for them.
Yeah, and I don't know whether that's called social intelligence or what the correct terminology is, but or it's definitely social awkwardness. I mean, they're not used to being out in an environment like that. Um, and I think it wouldn't be as bad if they knew for a like that if someone is dressed up in cosplay, for example, and they're going out into like a random bar, like it'd be one thing if they realized, okay, I'm clearly dressed up not for the occasion here. I'm gonna get looked at. People are gonna think I'm weird, and they go along with it. You know, that would make a little bit more sense because maybe you can, you know, laugh at a joke someone cracks about you and make a friend. But no, instead these people are so drawn into their passion, whether it's the character that they're portraying or whatnot, that totally goes out the window. I mean, remember when we walked around campus wearing morph suits? We didn't expect anyone to take us serious because we're in morph suits.
Yeah,
So
it's an ego thing. Like, yeah, people's ego is so drawn into who they are, what they label themselves, and then like you come out in a public place where all right, everybody has their own thing that they think they are, what they label themselves, and like no one is probably better than another one, but yeah, like someone could come out to that cosplay part or do that cosplay thing, and then like they'll be looking for trouble, looking for people to get into arguments with. And that's so counterproductive to be trying to start arguments in public just by going out there and being, disruptive.
yeah, even when you're going out to this happened to me a couple of years ago with a couple of friends. We went out to a particular bar for Halloween, and I don't know whether this person was just looking for trouble or maybe the liquor got the best of them, but they're wanting to start fights with people. Like, we're out here to have a good time. Like, what kind of issues do you have where you need to get tough and aggressive? Like, who are you trying to prove? And I mean, what are you trying to prove and to who? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then like they'll see it, they'll go back home to whatever social network they're on. Like this happened at the bar today. Blah 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 blah. I love that. Like some people, that's like their whole weekend is like this happened to me, blah, blah, blah. We have one mutual person that I see all the time. It's just like, you need to look for some positive things in your life to post about or something. Post about a new car or something you got or A got on your test. But like, man, oh man, do we not want to hear that like you went to a bar and like, kiss four guys in the same night. That's crazy. Then the next week, like you're at the same bar and you're like, I stopped like this big thing from happening. Like, damn, you a superhero in that bar. Like, they need to put your jersey in the rafters. Like, what are you talking about on Facebook for?
I know who you're talking about, man. Absolutely. And that reminds me. So Demi Lovato recently did something very similar. I guess she went to a frozen yogurt shop, and I don't know the full story about this, but she outraged about something, goes up to the counter, and just made a stand about, I guess, the frozen yogurt not advertising 0 calories or rich in fiber or half the carbs or something like that. And she
Yeah.
goes home and says, I complained and I didn't get my frozen yogurt and it ruined my whole weekend. Like, there's so many issues with that. Like, why are you broadcasting that to the world, first of all? Are you that narcissistic that you honestly think people care about? Well, unfortunately, there are people that care about that because of who she is and the status that she has. But for someone who's not a rather attractive, famous singer, who are you trying to entertain? Who cares? Do people ever ask themselves that? Like, this group of people, my 600 and some Facebook friends, are clearly going to care about this particular isolated incident that happened that has zero effect on their lives.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if it's like as Demi Lovato did, it was like something actually wrong. I saw the backlash that like she actually got it wrong and she had to retract whatever she said. But it's too late. Like, she is broadcasting to it's backs like she has a large following. So like you broadcasted this place to a lot of people. So I'm sure they felt the ire of like all the internet crazies. Sending the messages and all that, and just some of them going to latch on. Some of them got like a little bit of a response from you, or some of them got some little thing that's going to make them latch on, and they're not going to stop. So like now you got to deal with that for the rest of like the year, the rest of whenever. I'm sure like their Yelp reviews got bombed, and that's the crazy thing. Just because you don't like that they have 0 calories or zero fat in frozen yogurt, but other people, they could have whatever disease that makes this easy, or they just don't want to eat that stuff but still eat the frozen yogurt. Like, there's a lot of things that like it's better for me than the B, I think. I forget the phrase, but like, yeah, individuality is becoming so bad nowadays, and it's not helping. Like, people cannot work in teams anymore. It's becoming sad to like, I see people who were friends with people for like 2 weeks and then they start beefing. Man, how can't you even hold a friend down for a couple weeks without doing anything that's like completely like out of pocket? I had that happen with someone who just like they did something like, we're cool, we're hanging out pretty religiously for a couple weeks, and just do something that's like super out of pocket. It's like, man, like, did you think like I'd still hang around? Like, we barely know each other, even though like we could be cool, but like we still barely know each other in 3 weeks. So like, even if I knew someone for a long time, like that would be the thing to do. But like they always want to help themselves, and those are the dangerous people we have to watch. Look at Amy Cooper. Remember her?
Yeah.
Yeah. So today it was announced that she is suing her former employer for firing her for being racist because I think in the wording of the lawsuit it said like he could be dangerous as a black man. Like, she's still completely racist, and that's one thing that I love to push is people on the left side. They think that they're not racist, but some of them are more like the left is just as racist as the right, but they'll like try and play the sheep or whatever. But when they need to weaponize racism, they will. Like, I was talking to someone on one of those apps, and a bio said Black Lives Matter and all this stuff. And the first message was like, "We're looking for party favors." Like, why would you assume I got that? Like, why would you Black Lives Matter, but you want me to risk my life to sell just tours drugs or whatever on this app. Like, what is wrong with you?
That's a good point. It's interesting you bring that up because I particularly remember. Don't ask me how I know the exact reference to this, but this was some cringe compilation I found on YouTube. I was watching one night, and I think it was Kelly Osbourne, who is the daughter of Ozzy Osbourne. She was on this talk show. I think it's called The View. It's where like a bunch of women just start
Yeah,
blabbing about something. And she said they were discussing like immigration, that sort of thing. And she said, yeah, and Donald Trump, who do you think is going to scrub your toilets? And for like half a second, just you could hear a pin drop, and everybody's like, "Oh," and she goes, "No, no, I don't mean it like that. Like, how else could you mean it? Like,
yeah,
she's pretty far left, I'm assuming, judging by her appearance, amongst other things, and that was incredibly racist. I mean, calling them a derogatory term would have been just as bad. So, you definitely bring up a good point there. I think that people are being just as racist, and they're blind to it as well.
yeah.
You
A
know,
lot of them, like, as I one Twitter meme that I liked last year. I don't know if you saw. They're like, "Get Out" is actually about the liberals. You know that movie?
yes, Get Out was a good movie.
Yeah, and it's actually about liberals. Like the one point where he's like, "I'd vote for Obama a third time if I could," and then like they're just a town of people who they envied black people, they liked black people, and so much that they wanted to be them and continue their lives as black people. Like that's a lot of the narrative of the left, I think, and they don't realize it, but yeah, they say all this stuff, Black Lives Matter, all this stuff, but like you still would lock your door if a black person came around you. Like you aren't helping out with any programs, whatever. You're just posting whatever. Same with they started switching to the Palestine thing. Like that's been going on between Israel and Palestine for
A
50, 60
while,
years. Like
yeah.
you haven't posted anything about it before, but since it made the news and it's like the big thing right now, all right, here's all this, these Twitter think pieces about it now. And it's like you're still not doing anything. Like you're not hitting these streets where you're not donating anything like that. You're just an internet warrior. But then like if you met like a maybe an immigrant from one of those countries and they were working some type of job, I bet you like some service industry job or maybe even your doctor, like you might mistrust them because like they're different than like that's definitely one of the things that I see a lot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's I don't know what the phenomenon's called where you maybe it's because people watch a lot of TV, that sort of thing, and they automatically assume certain stereotypes about people of that race or ethnicity. Um,
Like
not a lot.
confirmation bias or what?
Maybe that's what it is. I
Yeah,
don't quote me on that. That sounds like it's right though. But I think more people need to actually realize that and realize that okay, this person is a minority. I am inclined to think this of them. An example. So to the east of where I live is this fairly big town called Aurora. Aurora, it's a little bit cheaper to live there, but it is also a lot more uh, rich in a minority population. And I haven't heard a lot of good things about Aurora coming from white people. And I haven't had the chance to do this, but next time I do, I'm going to ask them. I'm just going to ask them, what? Why do you say that? Why do you call it ghetto? Why do you call it sketch? Is it because there's a lot of minorities living there? And just wait for their answer and just watch them tap dance around. No, no, it's not because of that. It's because just be a bunch of BS. But um, yeah, I think that's the thing. Just the human ego can't comprehend that sort of thing. What the human ego can't understand, it automatically condemns. So I think that instead of people just being, Black Lives Matter for Palestine, they need to just shut up, sit back and learn about these sort of things, not, act like you're a, sorry about that, and act like you're not an advocate for this sort of thing when you're just going along with the message just because that's what's trending right now.
yeah,
And you're not having that fear of missing out.
yeah. It's what's trending right now, and if someone tries to challenge you, on like your points or whatever you posted or whatever you say about it, then like they're going to be the bad guy automatically, you know. So that's the thing too. It's like they love, you know, stances like that, where it's like I'm automatically in the good because I'm, you know, on this side of history, what have you. Even though like, I definitely, you know, support, you know, all the movements and stuff like that, but I'm saying like I keep quiet about it. I make sure I research into what's going on, and then like, you know, I make my decision. I'm not just like, you know, knee jerk post, and that's it. Like that's how I think about it. Like they don't care much more than that. Like uh, one thing that I would like to start doing is, you know, sometimes when I share those videos, just ask them what happens about 1 minute into it. I know they didn't watch it all the way through. You know, like they the Coney 2012 thing was up. That still tickles me to this day because it's like, where the heck did everybody in America find this stupid video? And then like they're riding it on their cars, all this stuff, and then they just forgot about it in like 3 weeks.
Oh my god! So what's crazy is I feel like we've talked about this before on this
Yeah,
podcast, hasn't we? All right,
yeah.
so I still remember the uh when that came out because I literally remember seeing people on Facebook going, "Oh my god, watch this!" Now I regrettably watched the full 30 minutes of it. I remember this because it was during the summer. I had the day off from work, and you know, being a teenager sitting at home all day. I mean, of course, you're going to be on Facebook, and I remember watching it, and I was never, you know, real with not trying to sound like I'm a hipster or anything like that, but I was never for the cause. I was like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. It sounds like this is a marketing scheme because not sure if we talk about this part or not, but it's literally, hey, buy this merchandise. We'll give you a sticker, a t-shirt, a keychain, and a poster. And on this day, we want to make Joseph Kony famous. Like that's obviously a money grab. I mean, you're going to make this. I forgot what the guy's name who created the whole thing, but you're obviously just trying to make him money. That's what the whole thing is. And yeah, it was being posted everywhere. And the organized group behind it, Invisible Children, I remember later that I think it was the following year when we were both in school, and there was a post on one of the groups at our school saying, "Hey, Invisible Children's going to come, you know, visit. They might visit the school. They're going to, you know, blah blah blah, Coney 2012." And I remember I specifically commented like, "Oh, this is the you know, guy who made this huge mess about this sort of thing. Nothing ever happened, and then he got caught publicly masturbating like a couple weeks later and got arrested. Like, really, this is what we're doing?" And I guess whoever was holding the group like tried, why does any of that matter? And I was like, all right. And lo and behold, big surprise, nothing ever happened. So yeah, I guess that's just kind of my experience with an incident like that. I try not to jump on the hype train for anything. Um, I try to watch stuff play out. If I'm late to the party, so what?
Yeah, I didn't even know about the whole selling stickers thing. I thought it was stupid because, like, I mean, if you know anything about Africa, there's a lot of warlords. So, like,
Yes.
why the heck did he single out this dude? You know, like, it was just a random. It's kind of like when people go to Africa or what have you, and they'll take pictures with like all the little African children or whatever. It's like this. It's
Yeah.
just another thing. Like, all right, I'm helping out Africa. You know, buying stickers or what have you. That he gets that from a lot of people who think they're uh, doing good, but it's not going anywhere besides their pockets.
Yeah, and you know, come to think about it, aren't there other issues in Africa that we should probably tackle first? I mean, there are governments that literally will starve their citizens. Um, if you're homophobic, or no, sorry, not, if you are LGBT, I'm pretty sure you'll get arrested or probably even executed. You know, there's a lot more issues that are happening in Africa. I think that more attention should be brought to rather than one particular warlord that, based on interviews, wasn't even confirmed if the guy was still alive at the time or if he was still recruiting child soldiers. You know,
Yeah,
it
like
seemed like
it's still haven't heard from him for like 10 years, so like he could be dead. But I
if you
think,
go
oh my
ahead.
god, you got it.
I just want to say it feels like looking back on it now that it's been we're approaching nearly a decade. I guess in a year from now it'll be probably a decade from 2012. It's really weird looking back on it and looking at that very one isolated incident, that one very isolated individual, and making a huge thing about it. It's almost like I can't even think of it like an example.
Yeah,
It's
that was
almost
like
like,
one of the first things that I remember going viral was the thing. Like no one knew about going 2012, and a video came out, and then suddenly they're knocking on doors around campus talking about you want to go to a rally for it. Like, no, I'm in here playing PlayStation. I'm good.
yeah,
But I think a lot of people don't realize that like Africa is actually not as they're like, oh, there's people starving in Africa. Like there's people starving in every country. Like every single country, there's people starving. Like Africa is actually becoming more and more developed. Like Nigeria is well on their way to becoming a superpower. And they're like very compact countries. So like these are smaller countries around the world, but like they are well on their way. And then like you're still thinking that like, oh, there's this guy Joseph Kony in the jungle recruiting. Was he recruiting child soldiers? I mean, maybe there is, but those are like some unstable nations, and there's again unstable nations on every continent. So like, what are we talking about? Like, but like, it's the whole stereotype of Africa is very underdeveloped, all this stuff. We need to save it, and that hero complex. It's a hero complex, and then like uh, another thing is you remember like when people would give money to a homeless person and take pictures with them, like that was super sad to see that one. It's
I know.
like
Yeah, you're basically exploiting someone's misfortune to be, hey, look at me, look what I'm doing.
yeah,
It's a very narcissistic behavior.
yeah, it's like you did it for like I don't even believe that you did it out of the goodness of your heart at that point. Like if you're doing it for likes, if you like, oh, he told me a story, blah 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 blah. Like, okay, whatever. You definitely embellished that one. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell like the people who embellish things because like they always have to have embellishment over and over again. It's like, all right, like especially if you met them in person and like you're not that person though. Like you're just embellishing it for your 42 Facebook friends that you haven't seen in 8 years. Like what's going on? But yeah, that's so embarrassing to me. I think like if I give like someone money, uh, cool, I had cash on me, which is rare, and then like I just go on about my day. Like I don't really even want to hear their story, what happened. Like this can't do anything for you. Here's that money. Hopefully, you get more from the next person that walks along. But like I'm out. I'm out E5. But yeah, people post themselves a little selfie. Boom. Like, man, you won't even remember that homeless person by the next day, but you got those likes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of behavior, it's prevalent not only with like giving money to a homeless person, but I particularly remember on LinkedIn, this is where this kind of behavior is just exemplified, and people eat it up because it's the professional social network. So I'm actually trying to find this post here. So I'll go ahead and dive into it here. So this guy was in a, and random stuff comes on my LinkedIn Facebook feed. So basically, this guy was an account executive at a company, and he says, and he made a post saying, this is a week where we need to show appreciation to sales development representatives. Quick tidbit here: in some companies, an account executive is a salesperson. The person who gets to lead for the account executives is known as either a business development representative or a sales development rep, SDR, BDR. Anyways, this guy goes, if it wasn't for a social development representative, I wouldn't enjoy epic vacations to Greece or Hawaii. I wouldn't regularly eat out at fancy restaurants. I wouldn't be able to own a home and drive a nice car. Comment below a social development representative you want to shout out. And I commented, I was like, this is a really odd humble brag and a really weird case of narcissism. I mean, it's it's sales development representative, and you've just talked about yourself the whole time. Like, what are you trying to prove here? Like, what And the guy eventually replied, he was like, well, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm trying to quantify with real examples. And I could have kept it going and said, you didn't list one example. You literally just talked about yourself, drew attention to stuff that you've done, and totally driven away from the point of showing appreciation towards people who are below you. So that kind of behavior, just focus on me. Even if the topic is not about me, how can I make it about me? That drives me nuts and I hate it.
Yeah,
So
people eat that up too.
yeah. So yeah, if a YouTube star is making a huge video about how they're going to give a homeless person $100, take them to go get their haircut, go buy them an outfit, like I hope you fall in a ditch. Like if you truly were a kind person, want to help this person out, the camera would not be important. But because you want to make stuff about you, you have to use your platform to elevate yourself even more and exploit that person.
Yeah, I see people doing that, and they have to make it to, I think it's like 10 minutes. You have to get to the video to advertise on it. And like if you put ads on any video that's like serious topic, like that's horrible. Like you can definitely choose to monetize video and not monetize video. So you use like those serious subjects to monetize yourself. Like that is definitely a predatory thing to do, but that is the thing to do. I think one guy, he was just selling hoodies with like a good message on them or whatever, but he's still selling merch, and like he's not giving any of the proceeds to anywhere. And those hoodies are like, $60 or something like that for 2 words on a hoodie that, like, he created a message behind it, but still it's like, man, you're making money hand over fist off people's mental illness. And it's definitely not the thing to do. It's definitely not creating a better world because like they're wearing this hoodie. Like it probably doesn't make them feel that much better. They spent $60 on it.
They got to plug their merch. They got to plug their brand. That's what they care more about than the actual message in whatever content they're posting, whether it be a video where they're doing a good deed. Got to put the plug, got to plug my merch.
Yeah.
Like,
I love to see the stories of like people who quietly do things, like quietly buy families meals on Thanksgiving and stuff like that. That's how it should be. If you're gonna use your platform or money for something, it should be a quiet thing. It's not like, and that's one thing that I like about volunteering is like when I'm there, it's definitely a humble, sobering thing. And you go out there, you either clean up a park, or I've never done a soup kitchen. One time I built a playground, but it's a humbling thing. I don't want to participate in a picture at the end or something like that. Like that makes it weird. Like take a picture, at the soup kitchen, like like we just fed some. Like no, like that's horrible.
Yeah, I think that sort of thing is one thing I really appreciate about like for example, like NBA players. Like DeMarcus Cousins offered to pay the funeral for a teenager who was slain. He basically paid for the entire funeral. It was like, hey, this is all on me. And here's the thing, when NBA players do that sort of thing, they don't make an Instagram post saying, hey, look what I'm doing. They don't go live on IG talking about it. They don't do it on their Snapchat. It's always a reporter who has to break the story. And I love that. I mean, I think that's great. I think that's the truest example to follow. You shouldn't have to if you have to broadcast it. I'm trying to think how I'm trying to word this. So this goes back to the phrase, if you're really good at something, you will never have to talk about how good you are. You just have to show it. Other people will do the talking for you. And I think that kind of gesture, whether it's LeBron James opening up a whole school or Derrick Rose offering a ton of college scholarships, they're not the ones who are broadcasting this sort of thing. It's other people that are doing it for them. I think that is the best example to follow.
Yeah, it's like I see on certain podcasters I follow on YouTube, there'd be like people in there, the people that got big, there's people in the comment section just spamming copy and paste, posts and stuff in their comment section every day. It's like, all right, you need to go and make your own content instead of like spamming the bigger accounts, like that doesn't really work. Like, all right, word of mouth is cool. If you're talking about it, not if you like bring it up, so if I walk up to you within 5 seconds, say watch my podcast or whatever. But if we're talking for a couple of minutes and I say like, oh, I also do a podcast, then like that's cool. But you're in the comments every day, like trying to like, what's the word I'm looking like, steal business over, like, try
Oh,
and
I
see like,
hate that.
yeah, you're grifting. I think that's what this is,
I
grifting.
hate
Like,
that.
yeah, that's embarrassing, and I think like that doesn't cause you to grow. I know like people who are still posting their mixtape links 10 years after school is over. Like, man, like you're talking about your haters, like no one's hating on you, bro. You're like almost 30. Like you don't have who's hating on you. Just stop hanging out with them. Like you not like you have to see them every day. Like who are your haters? Your coworker in accounting?
Yeah, like I noticed that, like if I will go on YouTube and look for a watch a new song or a music video by a not a huge artist, there's always some dude who's in the comments, hey, check out this project I dropped, check out this mixtape, check out this and that. I hate that so much.
Yeah, super spam. That's on
Yeah.
Instagram. That's everywhere. Just straight up. Like I've had last year I was kind of taking Instagram a little bit more seriously, posting better pictures and stuff. Didn't really grow too much, but it was cool to like, take some better pictures. It's still like I got some good ones in there, got some gas. Anyway, sometimes like from certain hashtags, like companies would message me and they'll like, or they comment like, "Hey, we're looking for brand ambassadors, right?" So at one time I tried it. I was like, "All right, cool. So what's the brand ambassador job or whatever?" They're like, "Hey, you buy this product at whatever percentage off. We'll give you a coupon code, and then like you wear it on Instagram, and maybe we'll feature you on our page. Maybe." So it's
What
like
was California one of the brands?
there's so many. There's so many. I don't think so, but
I,
yeah.
I
So
had
like
I had one of those attack me. They're like California, and like literally the coupon code was my Instagram handle. It's how weird it was.
yeah. So it's like they're gonna make money right there. It's just like it's just like multi-level marketing. Like because maybe you'll get them a sale, but you already got them a sale, and you got them some more exposure. So hopefully you get them a sale, but like them losing 40 to 60% on it, that means nothing if it gets them a couple sales. So if they can get a bigger name to do it, cool. But like they might get it for free, but most people aren't going to get it for free. That's why it's interesting when I see people like, oh, I'm a brand ambassador for Gymshark. Like, sure you are. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's so they exaggerate the heck out of that sort of thing. Like that's a lot like some female selling a Herbalife and saying, "Oh, I have my own company," and you
Yeah,
sell
my own
candles.
business. I'm going to Vegas. Like, I know someone who's they're living outside of Vegas, talking about like in a city right outside of Vegas, talking about on social media. I'm getting trips to Vegas for free. Like, you spent $10 on gas to get here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but on social media, that makes sense to people from wherever. They're like, cool. I could get a trip to Vegas, and then like you get to Vegas, it's not even that cool anymore. Like, man, but like it's just selling the dream on the internet, and then like you get out in the real world, and it's not the same thing. A lot of people are stagnant, stuck in life because like the internet's trying to sell them this dream. This anybody can be anything. Like you know, only what you want matters. Like, no, that doesn't work. Like, everybody can't be at the top. You have to
I
find your
hate
place
that.
on the rung.
I hate that because a lot of it, and you see it on any form of social media. Like if you look at you ever heard of Gary V?
Gary Vee, no, I haven't.
All right, so Gary V, he's this. I guess he's a billionaire now because he got lucky because he invested in Uber right when it started. And if you ever watch any of his videos, he's people think he's cool because he's like really exaggerated like this and uses the F word a lot. And he's like, when you're 22, you're just out of college, you need to just do a bunch of shit. And he's like really like that. And people eat it up. They're like, oh my God, like, this billionaire is putting everything into perspective. And if you actually take a step back and look at it, he's giving you nothing but very ambiguous advice. I mean, he got lucky. He might have done some very shady things to get where he's at, but he won't tell you that. He'll just be ambiguous, be vague. And then there's other guys like Ty Lopez, for example. I haven't heard about Ty Lopez in forever, but you remember him where he's like,
I'm not
here
sure
in
who that
my
is.
oh, man, I think around in 2017 YouTube, he was on every video ad. Here in my garage, I have this black Lamborghini over here. It's pretty fun to drive in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like more than my black Lamborghini? Knowledge. And he talks about how he reads a book a day, basically.
Uh, I
And
didn't see that. That's yeah, you get personalized ads, so I don't think I was in a learning space back then. But yeah, it's definitely weird that people are pushing that. That's like the thing that sells today is your feelings, or you can act emotionally and not logically, all kinds of things down that realm. Have you seen that Dan Blitzerian is like done for too? You remember him?
oh, dude, man, that guy has more haters than anyone. And honestly,
No, he's done. Like he's like bankrupt. His house wasn't real. Like go on YouTube
okay,
and
oh
look
yeah,
him
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That is right. I do remember his house not being real because Kevin O'Leary, the dude from Shark Tank, did a tour of his house, and MSNBC uploaded like a tour of Dan Bilzerian's mansion, and once that came out, um, they said a tour of Dan Bilzerian's rented mansion. So I do remember that.
Yeah, it's like dang. Like I actually thought that man was living life, but like now, like I mean, I don't really even think he's that cool anymore. But like, yeah, like if when you're in your
I
teenagers and
do.
like early 20s, you're like, man, that guy's really living life. But it's then like you start finding out like he's like paying the girls to be there and stuff like that. Like,
Of course he is.
I mean, if you're living life, you shouldn't have to pay them to be there. Like they should want to come. If you have like the Great Gatsby house, Great Gatsby wasn't paying people to come to his house, even though that's a book. But this is an example I'm going to use. Like, if you're actually throwing good parties and have the venue like that and have the rep in a city like LA, like it should be easy. Like Drake doesn't have to pay people to come to his parties.
True, true. Now, one thing I will say about Dan Bilzerian, I mean, he's just this fantasy that every young man wants. I mean, he shoots guns, he's in good shape, he just has girls around him, drives exotic cars, goes on trips and vacations. But here's something crazy that I don't remember where I read this at, and this isn't a fact by any means. This is a theory, but Dan Bilzerian's dad, Paul Bilzerian, was a corporate raider on Wall Street back in the 70s or 80s. I don't remember the exact time frame, but basically, he got filthy rich and set up trust funds for both of his sons, for both Dan, and I don't know what his brother's name is, but he set up trust funds with both of them. So basically, by the time they were born, they were set for life. Didn't have to do anything. Paul Bilzerian gets arrested and goes away. And I guess because of the whole thing that happened with their father, Paul, Dan Bilzerian's brother relinquishes his United States citizenship and now lives somewhere in the Central American Caribbean islands somewhere. I forgot which island it is, but he lives there full time. And the theory is that the reason Dan Bilzerian has all this money is not because he wanted it all from playing poker, because you can look at interviews with numerous poker players. He's not a respected person in the poker community, and people, even the high earners, don't typically win 75 million in one night and then flip that into 300 million a short time later.
Yeah.
So the theory is that all of Paul Bilzerian's money is stored in offshore bank accounts. And Dan Bilzerian, can't even talk. Dan Bilzerian's brother relinquishes American citizenship, now lives in the Caribbean, so he can enjoy all that money. It's untouched. The government can't come after it. It's untaxed. The thing is with Dan, he's actually funneling his father's money in to the country. And the way he's doing it is by starting this joke of a business called Ignite, saying he won it all playing poker, that sort of thing. So it's pretty crazy. And once again, this is a total theory that they're just funneling this money in because Paul Bilzerian set them up forever. But yeah, it's crazy. Just you don't get me wrong. You go on Dan Bilzerian's Instagram, you're going to become envious of his life like that. I
I don't
mean,
think he's posting anymore. He hasn't posted in a minute.
Well, I mean, who knows what's going on
Maybe I
because
unfollowed him, but like, yeah, I haven't seen a post with Dan Blazarian in a long time.
well, who knows what's going on because I remember there was this huge thing about his business was going to go under, um, and he fired the president, and like his business wasn't profitable because all they did was make like CBD pens and vape juices and all that sort of thing. And then of course Dan will, I think I have him added on like Snapchat or because it's like I occasionally like to, see what crazy shenanigans he's up to. But he's like,
Yeah,
company's doing great. My old president was an idiot. Um, but yeah, I've also seen a lot of videos of people saying like he's down and out. Like
yeah,
he
man. I don't think anybody's even talked about him. I forgot he existed until like I saw this video the other day on YouTube. I was like, what? That actually makes sense. It's like, yeah, he stopped posting. Like I remember like some people that I know in real life have like gone to some of his parties and they're like, yeah, we got paid to be there. So it's like,
that's another thing. So I forgot what God, it was some video and they showed everyone who was at his party and it was the most random people. Like Scottie Pippen was there, Future, or I don't think they were there at the same time. Actually, it was some other rapper. Um, and apparently there was some YouTuber. Who is it? Vitali, maybe? I
yeah, I
don't
saw
know.
that Vitaly party. Yeah,
Yeah, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement before you can even go into the party. So who knows what kind of shady stuff goes on there? And it's probably so someone doesn't go in and expose him for everything.
yeah,
So
just like a video crew in there, and all the rooms are empty. And then it's just like a bunch of people standing around, probably. Like I've
yeah,
seen some goofy parties here, like on Instagram, where people are like trying to sell the party or whatever. Then like they do a crowd shot, and it's like everybody's standing around, dude. Like everybody's standing around with their phone out, trying to like show people that they're at a cool party, but nobody's actually doing what you're supposed to do at a party, which is talk to people, have fun or whatever. They're just trying to show people that they're having fun. And it's like, can't be me, chief. I wouldn't
yeah.
show up to that.
That's all in the editing. A lot of jump cuts, so you're not too focused on one particular shot for too long, so you can really see. You can't take in that. Oh, these people are just standing around. It'll be like an overshot of the whole party, close up of a couple girls, close up of a celebrity, close up of girls again, close up of a group of people over there dancing. Like if you can all edit together and make it look awesome, and it can be boring as hell.
Yeah, I don't imagine like LA is like a chill city. I feel like so. It's like why would there be a wild party there? And then like the neighbors are around too, so they hate that as well. So it's like yeah, it's just like that. There's like this thing that went popular on TikTok called like Aiden's Kickback or not Aiden's someone's Kickback.
Adrian's kickback. I remember reading
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. It's like there's like videos from it. It's just like a bunch of dummy kids who actually showed up to like that's so weird to actually show up to that stuff, but like the little viral campaign made them do it. Then they're just like, well, what do we do now? We're here, All right, let's destroy stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's if you think about it, that's kind of how the movie Project X went. I mean, it just started off with, let's have a party, invite people over, and then it just, you hear about it on Craigslist. Not that I don't think that still happens nowadays, but you hear about it from here, more and more people coming, you know. And if you're at a random location, you're probably not going to be there again. You're like, hey, I'm going to do something crazy. I can just leave and won't face any repercussions.
Yeah,
So you tip a car over.
yeah. Project X came out like what 10 years ago, and people are still like, I want to throw a Project X type party. Like, did you not see the ending of the movie when everything blew up and stuff? And like, I mean, no, you don't want to throw. You want to throw a fun party that everybody gets home safe and has a good time. You don't want to have things destroyed or you know throwing people through pools or whatever
Yeah,
silliness.
exactly. I'm actually supposed to go to a party on Friday, which with my coworkers, God forbid, but I I don't have the objective of doing anything outrageous there or to get super wasted. Just go there, have a good time, conversate, maybe play some beer pong, maybe some flip cup, have some water, go home, wake up the next day. I don't know where people are thinking, oh, we're going to rage tonight. And then it never ends up being as fun as they make it sound.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like people like think parties should be like that, and it's just like no, that's not how they are. So like I had like a couple people over on like a Wednesday night, and someone sitting on my furniture. And I'm like, bro, like don't sit on my furniture. Like this is my house. Like what are you doing? Like you're sitting on a table that like I wasn't even finished building. So it's like that's not a bench, buddy. Like there's other seats that are, can I bring a chair? And you're like, no, you cannot move furniture around my house. Like because you want to sit down. Like what's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's disrespectful. Like that's almost as bad as him putting his dirty shoes on your couch.
Yeah, it's just like come on, man. Like don't know how to act at other people's houses. Like I don't get it. Like if you want to appreciate someone doing that at your house, like don't come to someone else's house and think like it's like free city. Like it seems like if someone's in my car in my house, they're like you should play this song. Like no, I don't take song requests. You know, and like they just like keep going. Like no, I'm not gonna play your music here. Like leave me alone.
Yeah, that's so annoying. I I don't know. I don't like dealing with those people. Probably why I don't throw parties ever.
Yeah, it's like a couple people is fine. And even like a respectful music request is fine. But it's always like the person who's not really talking or interacting. Everything they say is kind of like douchey. And then like they're like, "Well, you gotta play this song now." And it's like, "No." And then like they just roll right past it like you didn't say anything. And like, I'm not gonna play. Like I don't want to hear your music. I don't. I don't like you as a person. I don't think I like your music. Be quiet.
Yeah, and I judge people a lot based on their music tastes, and
Yeah, like that's so bold. It's like I don't ever like getting this like I don't know if someone like saying music to me. Then I can play a dead of a song, but like that's bold to like no, you gotta play my music now. Like nah, we're good.
yeah, it was one time I was at a get together at Indiana University back in the day, and I was playing music, and this guy grabbed the aux cord and put on Earl's sweatshirt. I just kind of looked at him. I was like, forget the whole fact that you just put on your own music, but you put on Earl Sweat. Who plays this at a party?
Yeah, like I don't know any Earl Sweatshirt music, but I'm sure like I'm not trying to turn up to it. Like it takes a certain finesse to have a good playlist and have like a good ebb and flow going. And then someone's always just like, "Can I play a song?" It's like no. And then like I'll sometimes when I have a party or whatever, I'll write down a sign that says like no music requests. And then like they ask you about it's because it's a slippery slope. As soon as one person gets a song played, the next person wants to play a song, they're like, bro, like we're not trying to do all that. Like
No,
just
that's
like
awful.
ignore the music and go like conversate or whatever. Like the music is the next song. If this song isn't doing it for you, the next one probably will. Because my music taste is, I've been to a lot of clubs and parties and stuff. I know how to put a playlist together, but it's just like, man, like no, we don't want to hear the dubstep remix of the same song we're listening to.
Yeah, that's terrible. Most dubstep remixes are. I mean, I don't know
No.
who goes out of their way to listen to that sort of thing. That's odd.
I don't know. I think that's like a social anxiety thing. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like it's just so weird to me. Like if I were to say yes, like all right, you can play a song, but it's the weird thing is like when you try to press the issue to the point where I have to be like, no, I'm not playing your music, and then like they're gonna get mad, but it's like no, you pressed it into that. Like if you just like let it go, you'll be fine.
It's funny you bring that up because at this party I'm supposed to go to, I feel like the only reason I got invited is because they want me to DJ at it. And I'm gonna make it pretty clear I'm not taking requests. I'm gonna bring out my
Got to.
turntables, play some music that I've curated. It's a good mix of hip hop and some EDM. It's nothing too crazy. It's not, coming straight off my playlist. Some songs there I don't truly care for, but just gonna have a nice kind of background setting to be the vibe of the whole party. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do my best to ignore any and all requests from here on out. So
Got to. You gotta have like just a little sign or something. It's like no, no, and then, like that's the thing is like it is a slippery slope. I've done it before. Like you play one song from someone just because like you're cool with that, and then like people just coming up to you over and over again, just like you play this. Like no, go away, man. Like just let the music play. Like and then like that becomes the focus, and like that takes them out of it. If you shut down one person, that usually because like they're gonna go and like they're gonna be like he wouldn't let me play music, and then they might ask him why. Like, you tell them, they tell you the reason or whatever. So then that spreads around like, all right, he's just, not letting them play music. But it's like, whatever, man. Like, then you gotta go find something else to complain about, and you save yourself the music issue.
Yeah, and I feel like if you let people give requests stuff, they're gonna play weird stuff like, "Oh, can you play that Tech Nine Red Kingdom?" Like,
Oh,
yo,
yeah, it's just gonna be
no
requested, and then
more.
like you have to like eventually you're gonna want to say no too, and it's because like someone's gonna come up to you and like, hey, play some Flow Rider, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, like my God, man, you just got me started. Like there's something that I particularly despise about people. If all of the music that they like is like top 40 stuff, I can't hold a conversation with them about music at all. Like the conversation ends before it even begins. You actually, in my opinion, and this is because I've been playing guitar, making beats, DJing, I have a very particular type of music that I like. And I can't describe what it is.
Lil Xan.
No, not Lil Xan. But if it's an artist that is big and popular and that's all people like, they don't like anything outside of that, it drives me nuts. Now, I'm not saying those artists aren't good because there are some songs from big artists that I like. If you put on some Playboy Cardi, I'll be like, okay, I like this song, but that's not all that I listen to. It's not even like in my top 5 songs at the moment. I feel like people need to really branch out and explore music that exists out there because there's so much of it. If you are just listening to what the mainstream media and the record companies push at you, you have no substance. You don't even begin to you know nothing. You have you know nothing of music. That's what I gotta say, man. Like it's funny that this other microphone was here that as I'm talking about music, but just that's my thing, man. You have got to find an artist that is unique to you, that is just not that big. Become a fan of them before they get big. I was that way with Logic, for example. Before
All
before
right,
the
no, you gotta stop right there. We're not gonna talk about Logic on this
because of that
podcast.
stupid one eight
No,
hundred song.
no, no.
That suicide song is awful. Okay, it is
Logic's
one of his.
awful.
It is one of his worst. It is his worst song,
I mean,
and
I
I will
can name
stand by
10
that.
worst Logic songs. I just gotta open up Logic on Amazon Music. In the top 10 popular ones, those are gonna
I,
be 10 worst Logic
I can
songs.
pick out 10 horrible Kodak Black songs. Okay, my point is that if all you're listening to is what is hot at this current time, time is back to our conversation from earlier. If it's popular, if it's trending, and you're about it, I hate you. I truly do.
All right, Logic fans hate people, so whatever.
All right,
Anyway,
another example. Another example of this.
Jeezy.
I don't care for G-Eazy, honestly. I've given him a chance. He doesn't do it for me. When the show Metalocalypse came out, I want to say this came out in like 2007. Do you remember that show? It was on Adult Swim. It was like a 10-minute episodes.
Yeah, that show was way before 2007. I feel like.
Probably 2004 even. Well, I remember it got big 2007 through 2009. More people like, oh, I like metal. I like listening to Metalocalypse. And I'm just like, at the time, I was a huge heavy metal fan. I mean, that's when I was in my angsty teenage years and I wanted to hear like aggressive sounding stuff because I was mad a lot. And I could name a whole laundry list of bands that no one's ever heard of. But because there was a semi funny show on Adult Swim, that's what they would say they liked. It drove me nuts.
Well, you gotta introduce them to new stuff, or get off the pot. It's whatever. People were into the popular stuff. To me, I guess like unless they're either faking the funk on that too, which that is a lot of times they'll say they like video games. Well, video games are like Fortnite, Call of Duty,
Who still plays
Among Us.
who over the age of 14 still plays Fortnite in 2021?
I don't know. I don't play multiplayer at all, so I really wouldn't know. But like every time, like a big TV show or something goes off, Tiger King was another one that people like would not stop making references to all of last year.
Okay, so devil's advocate here. When Tiger King came out, that was literally the start of quarantine. No one had anything else to look forward to. And then Netflix releases this crazy documentary that is just the weirdest thing ever, and you can't stop watching it.
Yeah, I know you dressed as Tiger King for Halloween.
I made a pretty good Joe Exotic, but I digress. Anytime any other big show comes out, Game of Thrones, for example, everyone and their grandma's raving about it. I gave it a try. I watched the first 2 episodes of Game of Thrones and was like, I'm done. I'm not going to watch this ever again. I've not seen an episode since.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. I think like the thing that's funny is like when you disagree with which is the circle of what we've been talking about today. I think if you disagree with the popularity of something, that's when like they'll get vile towards you because you don't like something that's popular. That's it's definitely a weird thing. Like so, like they'll follow any trend. Some people like their favorite TV show of all time is what Friends or The Office, and then they follow every trend that comes out. They like whatever music's popular. And it's like they're really just going through the motions of life, just waiting to be entertained by whatever's like, and you're too lazy to look for things that are, outside of the box. Like some drone type stuff. Like that person's definitely a sheep if they're just going straight for the popular. And
Exactly.
anything outside of like that popularity is offensive to them.
Exactly. There's two people in life, those who create the wave and those who ride the wave. And those people who are just follow whatever's trending are just riding the wave. Like
Yeah,
you said,
just
they're going through the motions. So
riding, waiting to be provided for.
I think everyone should strive to create the wave, not ride it.
They, like I keep my drip on 100, and then like as I do things, like sometimes like people will disagree with it or whatever, especially with fashion or whatever. And then within a year or two, they start doing the same thing, and it's always funny to me. So I'm like, I remember you were hating. I remember, but not like you with it because I kept doing it. I never saw any. I kept the same confidence or whatever in doing whatever I was doing with the fashion, and then like that. That's the thing. Is like if you keep the same energy, keep the same confidence while you're doing something, while you're creating the wave, then it's like you can't be touched. Like you always have to take risks. Like that's why the emperor's new clothes. He was the emperor who always had the drip, but then they made him naked, and no one even wanted to say anything. So it's like, is this the new drip now? Is this what we're doing? But like finally, someone called it out. Like that kid, and I don't know if it was in like the book too, but in the movie, like finally, a kid was just like he's naked. And then everybody was like, oh yeah, yeah. I guess we can say something.
Yeah, that reminds me. I wish rompers stuck around and became a
Yeah,
staple in fashion nowadays. I almost bought one,
I
but
got
then
two. I wish I didn't. Like, I really would rock them. I've seen some people rocking them lately, and it's just like that ain't it, Chief. Like that never caught on. But now I'm liking like 5-inch shorts. Like that's been my thing lately. Like I pulled some out the closet, and I'm like, hmm, these actually look good on like my muscular thighs, my thick legs with some white shoes and just a t-shirt, some 5-inch shorts. Man, oh man,
lean, thick legs.
lean, thick muscle.
So I tried wearing shorts that short, but I don't think I can because they bunch me up too much, and I feel like my junk is like showing.
It's okay. Let that hang down show.
Yeah, but I don't want to be walking around the workplace. And what if someone bumps into me
Man, you
in the
can't
back
wear
of their?
shorts to work. Number one, you're looking like a FedEx
I can.
package
My
delivery.
job allows it.
You're wearing shorts and flip flops to work. You'll actually do that. There's no way I'm going to show up and still.
One of the VPs at my company wears jeans and flip flops.
I wouldn't even feel comfortable going to work in that. Like I need to feel like I'm going to work, not to I don't know, to play frisbee in the park in some jeans and flip flops. I don't. Where the heck would you wear jeans and flip flops to?
That's what I'm saying. I,
Vacation?
so okay, so if you're not wearing your short shorts to work, where are you wearing them out? Just like out in public, or
Yeah, like I don't. when I go to work, like I don't even have to dress up when I go to work, but I dress above the dress code. Though, like you can wear like a polo and jeans or whatever, it'd be fine. But like now I'm dressing like shirt tucked into a belt, nice shoes, some slacks. It just that's a staple that I'm setting for myself, and it's all right. Every time you see me when I'm at work, I'm gonna be dressed well. I'm not gonna be in there just like my toes out, my toe hairs out.
Yeah, I could see that. It's a little difficult at my job because we have a casual dress code. I mean, you can't wear sweatpants, yet girls get away with wearing leggings all the time. Um, and I kind of have a theory about why that is. And it's mainly because out of my workplace, we're about 80% men, 20% female. And I think they let girls get away with stuff a little bit more than they do guys there. However, um, in my job, they're very casual in the dress code. You can come in wearing jeans, baseball hat, a hoodie. No one cares at all. So I feel like me going above and beyond and having my shirt tucked in, ironed, nice pair of slacks, dress shoes. I'd rather would be comfortable going to work if I had that opportunity as opposed to dressing like that.
Nah, but it feels good. I promise you, it feels good when you show up and everybody in there is just like, all right, all right, now, then like you'll get other people to start doing it. Like for a while I was wearing like some tighter pants, a nice shirt, and then like soon like other people started wearing like those slim straight pants. Like it was like bell bottom city in there, but then like once they see me in the slim straights, like the young guy in the slim straights, and everybody else like, all right, cool, that looks like it's in fashion, and like at least there's one person wearing it. That makes me want to do it too, and it just feels good to look good. I bet you when you go out on your coffee break, you'll get more respect from the baristas at Starbucks. It's just like if you're dressed better, you get more respect. Like a dude in some flip flops and some shorts, okay, that's just a regular guy going about his day. A guy comes in business attire. Who is this man? What's he doing? Where is
So
he going?
so I agree with that. I absolutely agree with you. However, I feel like when because I'll be honest, I don't always feel like I need to impress people with dressing up. I honestly will be wearing a pair of socks and just put on my flip flops and go somewhere. Dude, I am the most comfortable at that point because I'm just like, man, I don't have like shoes that are, probably tied too tightly or one where the shoelaces coming loose. I don't got pants that are bunching up around my crotch and
My
just
hang
making
down.
me itch. I don't have a,
Why you be itching? Nasty.
you sweat. I mean, it's a lot like if you don't put on deodorant.
You gotta get that powder for your bowels.
Do you use talcum powder or baby powder?
I use neither.
What kind of powder do you use?
Neither. None.
You
All
don't
that
use
powder.
anything? So
No.
you don't get the itch?
The what?
The itch around your crotch?
I don't think so.
Dude, no way, dude. Every guy gets that itch. Like you're just like you just got to dig down there because like it's right in between your leg and your junk. You'd be
You
on
be
either
powdering
side.
yourself. You be smelling like straight up baby powder. Like just be
Yeah,
smelling like
so I sometimes I use baby powder at one point because it got real bad, and I was like, man, I'm just like uncomfortable. And I don't know if it really, I guess it worked a little bit, but I'm not someone who's just gonna like take a whole bunch of baby powder every morning and just go
yeah, man.
to
You can
start
make
my
yourself
day.
sterile.
Oh, I don't use it often. I mean, I don't know the effects of
Got a
baby powder.
whole laundry detergent going in your pants.
So getting back to my point though, I mean, dressing up, it's gonna come with a sense of slightly uncomfortable because you're wearing clothes that are fitting you perfectly. They're tighter around your limbs, around your core. I mean, right now I'm in a t-shirt and I'm actually wearing some 5-inch seam shorts because I got home and I just was a little hot. So, I mean,
Them boys
I'm
nice, aren't
comfortable
they? Them
now.
5-inch shorts. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Especially after you hit legs and you got a juicy quad pump going, you feel your quadriceps just bulging.
Yeah, I remember like a couple years back when the fashion was like long basketball shorts, like basketball shorts that went down to like the mid thigh or the mid calf.
Mid shin, actually.
Yeah.
I will still rock those if I'm working out because
No, please
when I
don't.
go to the gym, yes, I do.
Ah,
Okay, so mine don't go down to my shins anymore. They're at the knee level.
you showing up looking like Jason Mayhem Miller in there. But no,
But
like,
I actually liked those shorts. Not gonna lie, I actually
dog,
thought they were comfy.
you gotta upgrade your. You'll get a much better pump if you upgrade your gym fashion. Because then, like,
So
people are
so
peeping you. People are like, "Hey, he about to get in a good. He about to get some work." And then, like, when you start doing it, man, I was doing shoulder day a couple days ago. I hurt myself on shoulder day because like so many people were watching me get that work. I was like, yeah, I gotta like show them something, show them
you
some of
might
these
be
striations.
attracting the wrong crowd depending
I
on the
was I
person
was
you
showing them
are.
all the striations. Everybody wants to see the striations when you got striations. When you got those shoulder striations, I was like, ah,
So
ah.
so when I'm working out, I don't try to dress fashionable because I'm in there sweating and my headphones are in and I don't really conversate at all. Like I'm in there just like go. I usually will have some of my gold standard pre-workout occasionally, and the last thing I'm in there for is trying to impress someone.
It's not even
But
an impressive thing. It's just you're dressed for
but
the job.
dressing
Dressed for the
fashionable
job.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're working out. Like you're let's be honest, you're only in there because you want to look good, feel good, naked.
I
That's why a
know.
lot of people
I didn't
work
say
out.
anything about being naked. No, you should be an athlete for life. It has a lot of benefits. So like, I'm just out in there being athletic, getting my pump on or what have you. And if someone so happen to look over and see me in the gym, I'd be like, "Hey, you see it? You peep it?" And if they look twice, I gotta show them the striations. That's what they're there for. They're there to see a striation or two.
Have you ever gone to the gym and some guy comes up, he's like, "Hey man, I really appreciate those striations," and you take turns showing off to one another and touching each other? Has that ever
Nah,
happened to you?
nah, not really. Like people don't talk to me
The
in the
way you're
gym too
describing
much
it, I thought it
anymore.
would.
Uh, like a couple of months ago, someone walked up to me and said, "How many sets do I have left?" And I was confused because that's what they do to like a smaller person. I was like, "Bro, what? Like, what do you mean? How many sets I got left? Like, you trying to fight right now? Like, that's them fighting
So
words."
so funny you say that. My favorite is the guy who comes in to do squats, has his belt with him. You can tell he's on pre-workout because he's pacing back and forth amongst the squat racks, waiting for one of the people on the squat rack to make eye contact with him. How many sets? How many sets you got left, bro? And you have to, be a little courteous because you've been working out and you want to finish rather soon because someone's waiting on you. Be like, oh, I got about two more. And then it gets to the point where they're still there. They're either standing right behind you waiting or they're pacing back and forth. And it just makes it uncomfortable for everybody.
Yeah, that's why like I don't care. Like they do that on purpose. Like that's weird gym behavior. Like go find something else to do. Like
That's the other thing. So when I was in high school, my strength and conditioning coach, when I was playing baseball, we had to take it as a class. It was this dude who was 5'4", 200 pounds. Dude was a tank. And if he ever saw you standing around not working out, he'd like publicly shame you in front of everyone. So I've always had that mentality when I'm going to the gym. Okay, I want to do squats or deadlift or hang clean or something like that. And the squat racks are full. The last thing I'm going to do is stand over
yeah,
there, patiently wait for one of them to be done so I can go in. I'm going to do something else. And then when I finish that, then revisit it and see if it's full.
yeah. Especially
So
like in a crowded gym, it's like, why would you know you come there at a crowded time or whatever? So like, well, what are you even doing? And then like you say like they're on pre-workout, which when I'm on pre-workout, I'm not trying to stand around and wait for a squat rack. I know which gym I want to go to on which day because like my gym has multiple locations. So I'm like, all right, if I really need a squat rack this day, I could probably go over here and find it quite easily or like pick a certain time that I'm going to go. So like again, you got to plan your socialness. Like people come there during like peak hours, like 5 to 7 p.m. and then just like want to stand around and harass people. Like, bro, like you knew it was gonna be busy before you came in there. There's other gym behavior like standing in front of the mirrors, like doing curls like right in front of the mirrors in like that lane where you have to walk through to grab weights. Uh, like I hate that. Like when they'll stand right in front of the weights, like I'll go walk up like right on, like bro, I need these right here. Like like no one's afraid of anyone in the gym, but like they try and do things that like makes them like feel like they're intimidating someone. But it's like, bro, like what are you gonna do if I come ask for these weights? You're gonna flip out? No, you're just gonna move the hell out the way or you won't, and I'll just grab them around you. Like it's not that big of a deal. It's you're the one who makes it like a issue, and it's like it's supposed to be a communal space, the gym. But like some people do like antisocial things, screaming, uh, taking a bunch of weights for themselves, slamming weights. Like the people who use
Seething when they're
machines.
lifting, like that's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, the
I'm
people who like doing the machine just clank, clank, like yo, like you're supposed to lift or lower that like gently. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this because I feel like the years that I've gone, I've always noticed these sort of things, but I've
Yeah,
never actually spoken about them until now.
yeah,
So another thing is if you're by one of the benches by where all the dumbbells are lined up at, and they have a mirror there, and the reason why they have the mirror right there is so you can watch your form as you're doing the lift. And when some a-hole stands in front of you, this is what they do, like on the rocks or right in front of the rack. They just have their phone. They're like, and you're kind of just standing behind them, like, all right, like, are you gonna move so I can finish my set or what have you? And then I noticed when I'm after a while, I'm just a couple minutes, I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go. Then I start, let's say I'm doing shoulder press. As soon as I go up, then they decide to move, grab the weights, and start busting out curls. And you're just like, really? Like every time I go, you go. But if I wait on you, you're not gonna move.
yeah.
It drives me crazy.
At one time, this guy was like on a machine like 20 feet back from the mirrors, and like it was a crowded gym period. This dude actually walked, so was like, "Move out the way." Like I'm like, "No," I'm like, "What?" like, absolutely not. Well, like I was over there like lifting or whatever. Like how like there's a gap between the benches. I was in that gap, doing my curls. Where this guy's like, "Move out the way." Like, nah, bro. Like that's like in crowded gym, you gotta do what you gotta do in a crowded gym. But like I understand, like if they're lagging, like that's the thing you shouldn't be doing is lagging. Another thing that I've noticed in like the past year or two is freaking shadow boxers. Like I never used to see that, but shadow boxers are awful. To start swinging at
And
machines and stuff.
that's more of that intimidating behavior.
Yeah,
Um, Now, shadow boxing, if you know what you're doing, it can be a good workout because that's some of the best practicing for sparring. But I severely doubt most of the guys doing the shadow boxing really know what they're doing.
yeah,
I
they're
mean, they
throwing kicks and shit in there, like especially
they
like
took
because like some of those places have like bags and stuff. So like if you go put it on and go hit the bag or you're near the bag, that's fine. Like in the middle of the gym floor in crowd hours, you're over here throwing kicks. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like honestly.
yeah, they take one boxer size class and think they're in the UFC. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's always the most out of shape dude in a group of four who starts shadow boxing. Like, geez, man, you guys are already like way too deep at the gym. You look weird, and then like you're in here boxing. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and I don't know that's super weird that people do that. I mean, if you're actually in a fight, the last thing you're gonna do is just go and just like throw jabs and punches. Like,
Yeah,
no,
they're making combos in the gym, punching the leg press machine and stuff. It's just like, come on, man. Like you're throwing it. It's like everybody's kind of like not looking in a general direction. They're looking in mirrors and stuff, and you see someone swinging. So like that's obviously gonna make people look. It's just another way to get attention in the gym. It's like, oh,
yeah.
those people are peeping me in the gym. Like you're shadow boxing, homie. Like no one wants to see that. Everybody's like gets confused.
And when you actually shadow box, you're actually supposed to like throw like an actual like punch, because if you're practicing for sparring an actual fight, that's what's going to make your sparring effective. Just doing like going through the motions, all that sort of thing, that doesn't do anything for you. So it's just unintelligentness trying to show off, um, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I try to go to the gym later at night because I don't mind if there's a lot of people at the gym, but if it's too crowded and I can't get an effective workout done within an hour to 90 minutes, I end up staying there for 2 hours to make sure I do everything. And it just, I don't always have the time for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to be in and out in like 45 minutes or like an hour 15 if I do 30 minutes of cardio. And I usually get that done as long as like there's no BS going on. I usually get whatever machines I need and what weights I need to get in and out, even with a good little rest between the 3 to 4 sets that I do.
Exactly. And honestly, I'm thinking about switching gyms. I've once a week, I usually go on Wednesdays. I go to a baseball performance training center with my teammates, and we get the whole facilities to ourselves, and we're there for an hour. It's the most effective workout because no one's in the way. We don't have to worry about anyone else. We just go in there, get our reps in. When the hour's up, we're all tired and want to go home. I really like that. But at the same time, doesn't really matter unless you live in a small town. You know, it's hard to find a place where you can go to get an effective workout in and then dip. And if it's a place where not a lot of people go to, well, the equipment there is probably not that great, like a apartment gym or
Yeah.
a hotel gym.
Yeah, I mean, like as I said, like my gym just it just built a new location, so a new location is the one that's packed. So everybody wants to, be in the new gym and be the top dog in the new gyms. I mean, it's the older gyms are uh definitely not packed, even during peak time. And then like past peak time or before peak time, you get anything you want. It's a large gym. I can get in and out in an hour and get a great pump in. It was amazing. But like I've been going to the big location recently. I think I was there at like 9, 10 p.m. yesterday, and it was still just like you walk in like, man, like I don't even want to be here right now. It's so packed.
Yeah, I alternate between two locations or the gym that I go to because one of them is not nearly as packed in the later hours, and there's always a squat rack that's opened. Um, and there was one time I went to my primary gym that's like 5 minutes away from me. There's so many people there. I was like, this is ridiculous. So I got back in my car and drove to the other location that night because I still want to work out, but I knew the other location wouldn't have
Yeah.
not even half the people there.
Yeah, I almost like did that the other day. Like I was like in the parking lot. I was like, dude, do I really want to do this? Another one's like 15 minutes away. Like, that I could waste 15 minutes driving, 15 minutes back, or I'm already here. There's 5 minute drive, so let's get it in. But it was I suffered. I definitely suffered through it. Like it's hard. What did I do yesterday? I did chest. So yeah, chest is kind of easy. It's like not a lot of people really bench press. They're all just trying to use like the chest press and the flies and stuff. So I didn't get flies, but yeah, I got the chest press and I got the bench press. So it is what it is. Anyway, it's been about an hour and a half. So let's get some closing thoughts in here. Talk about Derrick Rose getting a playoff win.
Yeah, I've been kind of neglecting the NBA because anytime my teams suck in a particular sport, I stop watching it. However, I do need to start watching the playoffs for the NBA because D Rose is up in there. I mean, I who did they play tonight? They beat
The Knicks.
Bot.
The Knicks.
No,
Trae Young.
oh, the Hawks. Okay, yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
whoops, my bad.
I mean, the first round is like I don't know if there's an upset that'd be kind of cool, but it's not really surprising. And whoa, what? I think my cat just shut off my light. Yep, she did. All right. Well, now that I'm in the darkness here, I'm excited for the playoffs because I want to see who's going to come out the East. Is it going to be Milwaukee? Is it going to be Brooklyn? Is it going to be the Heat again?
No, they're
Who,
trash.
who's coming out the East?
Either Brooklyn or Milwaukee, but the Heat, no, they're getting blown out. It's kind of sad.
Who's coming out the West?
I mean, I would say the Lakers or Denver.
Lakers. It ain't going to be Denver, man. You know, living in Colorado, I do appreciate the passion that a lot of the Nuggets fans have, but they need to realize their organization ain't going to do nothing. Jokic is a great player. Is he going to give you a championship?
It's MVP
Not
right
while
there.
LeBron's not with LeBron in the East, man.
I mean, the Lakers aren't looking like that dominant this year as they were last year, so we'll see. Definitely see.
Other than that, I learned that Dan Bazarian is bankrupt and gym life, man. Have good etiquette at the gym.
Yeah, you gotta have that. I mean, people roast gym etiquette, and they've been roasting for years, and still people are just like, well, I want to, cause a problem in the gym. It's just that, like that's toxic masculinity right there, looking for weird fights in weird ways. I don't call a lot of things toxic masculinity, but a lot of gym culture is just like, dog, what are you accomplishing by doing this?
Exactly. I've tried to get a little bit more creative with my workouts. Tried doing Bulgarian squats. Blah, blah, I can't talk. Bulgarian split squats on the Smith machine. Don't shy away from the Smith machine. I know the starting weight's only 15 pounds, but it's a good alternative to just using a squat rack. People shy away from those.
I don't use this. I just use the squat rack. I carry a belt with me though. Like I'm definitely like I'll squat up to like 225 or something like that. Maybe a little bit more than that. Like I'll bench up to like 185, but I'm not trying to work out for numbers anymore. It's just to maintain the athletic look. Like I don't give a shit how high someone's bench is. Like that's hilarious to me. Like when someone like when you're like younger, that's very interesting. But as you get into like your late 20s, early 30s, like I don't care. No one does.
The only lift that I care about doing the most on is deadlifting. But I now have learned that that's probably not the best lift to do a lot of weight on because it causes a lot of injuries. So
Yeah,
I agree with
everybody
you
gets
there.
injured off deadlift. I've seen a lot of people quit the gym off deadlifts and squats because like they injure their lower back and then they never come back the same. Because like the ego lifting, is it worth it? Because like I'd rather maintain the look and like just work out on whatever. Like eventually your weights go up. Like I can pretty much curl like 40 pounds if I wanted to. Like it's not hard, but I don't do it at all.
I'd rather impress people with like the number of pull ups I can do.
Yeah, I can do like 8 pull-ups, 9.
I used to be able to do a lot. I can maybe struggle to get to 10 now, but that's about it.
You want to see a video of me doing pull-ups later?
Sure, I'll send you mine as well.
All right, for sure. And that is no what you getting into the podcast, and we are out of here.